So today's movie was one that I watched on Filmstruck literally the day it expires on Filmstruck. So I'm sorry if you're watching this, you can't watch it on Filmstruck unless you can watch it in the next 4 hours because that's when it expires. Um, this was 1947's Forever Amber, directed by Otto Preminger and starring the one and only Linda Darnell. It's based on a novel by Kathleen Winsor that was released in 1944. Windsor's husband was away at war. He had written a dissertation on what was it, Charles II? Yeah, Charles II. And so she read through all of his work and the books that he was reading and things like that, and wrote this salacious historical romance novel set during this time. And it ended up being the highest grossing novel, most selling novel of the 1940s in America, although it was banned in 14 states. And it's a very racy novel, and I can't wait to find it. However, the film version, because it's made in America and there are production codes, is much tamer, although still quite racy. However, it has to give an ending for our hero Amber that she doesn't deserve. She deserves a much better ending than she gets in this movie, but she gets the ending she gets because it's the production code, and someone of loose morals needs to be somewhat punished, and unfortunately, that's what happens in this novel, or in this book. I won't tell you exactly what happens, but it starts in 1644 during the English Civil War, and the end of Cromwell, or that's later, the end of Cromwell. There is a young woman who's been abandoned. Her name is Amber. She grows up to be a teenage girl during the fall of Cromwell. She is an odd fit in this town. She doesn't like it. She's about to get married off. She does not want to be married off. In come two cavaliers played by Cornel, Wilde, and Richard Greene. One hits on her, one does not. She falls in love with the one who doesn't, obviously, and begs them to take her with them to London. They do, and it seems all innocent until Cornel Wilde's character decides to abandon her. He's going off to sea, and Richard Greene's character is going back home, and he's like, "I'll drop you back off at your hometown if you want." And she's like, "No, I'm staying in London. Like, screw you guys." And she gets sort of pinched out of her money because you should never trust anyone when you're a woman alone in London. Like, come on. And she ends up in a debtor's prison where it is revealed that she is pregnant. So it's not innocent as it seems. And then shenanigans ensue. She realizes the Cornel Wilde character will never marry her unless she has a title and money. And so the rest of the film is her working her way from this debtor's prison up to being a woman with a title, all the while trying to raise her son and keep him safe. And every time that this Cornel Wilde character comes back into her life, she lets him, including the plague when he's an idiot unloading all his goods during the plague, and she nurses him back to health. And yet, I guess you're gonna guess where I'm going with this. He keeps not being there for her. She keeps being there for him, and he keeps just abandoning her left and right. And she keeps doing what she can to keep going on and get more money and get more pretty dresses and basically live her best life. And yet she just keeps falling for this idiot dude. I don't want to really say how it ends because I don't want to spoil it, but it's a 2 hours and 20-minute film, something like that. It's an epic. I loved every minute of it. It's beautifully shot. Cinematographer was Leon Shamroy. The music by David Raskin was nominated for an Academy Award. It did not win. Let's see who did the costumes. Somebody great must have done these costumes. There were so many good hats. Like, so many good hats. Let's see here. Thought this would come up sooner. Sorry. Renee Hubert did the costumes. I don't even know who that is. Beautiful Technicolor film. The cast also has Ellen Corby for a second. You'll recognize her from a bunch of film noir and lots of Preminger films, as well as a very young Jessica Tandy and George Sanders. Oh, let's talk about George Sanders for a second. He plays Charles II, and you know how Charles II had all those spaniels? The spaniels follow him around throughout the film, and it is delightful, and it's one of the best sort of smirking, comedic George Sanders performances. Very quintessential George. Really good. Um, this is maybe my favorite Linda Darnell performance. She's always really good, but she is just stellar in this film. And I think this film's probably not as well regarded as it could be because it's this like trashy romance. But like they made a really great film out of this trashy romance, and unfortunately couldn't keep I mean, they got the gist of it, but they couldn't keep uh, the realness of it because the production code really limits what you can do. But what they did within the production code, I think, was quite great. And it has everything you want from this era of a romance. It's got the hats. It's got her like having multiple affairs. It has a sword duel in the dawn. That scene was beautifully shot. Debtor's prison, like a ball, everything that you could possibly want in a film. This film has it. I quite enjoyed it. Like I said, it's about to expire on Filmstruck literally tonight, so unfortunately, waited till the almost last minute for it. But it is great. I loved it. I can't wait to check down this book and read it. I will probably love that as well. Um, just reading. The Hays Code condemned the novel, but within a month of its publication, Fox purchased the rights because they were like, we'll make it work. And then as soon as the film was released, it was condemned by the National Legion of Decency. So there you have it, condemned. It's probably less racy now than in a world of like Outlander with like swan boobs and everything. But this is definitely, if you like Outlander, this is a great film for you. It's that same sort of era, a little, I mean, earlier, but um, the same feel without the sci-fi of Outlander. Just wonderful and fun and beautiful. So check this out if you can find it. I think it's on DVD as well. It's Forever Amber from 1947. A fantastic film.